What's up, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube world? This is Chris, a.k.a. Barnon11970. Thank you, as always, for checking out my video. Quick little video before I start my day, because a couple of my subscribers, they really get it, and I'm really appreciating more and more people coming here that are using logic and reason and can actually, even if you disagree, say it in a constructive way where we learn instead of being defensive. And it really shows how the average person on the street has been programmed without them even realizing it. Because the programming that I'm talking about is the fact of using emotion instead of logic. Like, for example, a normal person that is not programmed can have a conversation with, and I'm going to use normal in quotes because normal, that's maybe a bad choice of word. But let's just say a person that uses logic and reason discusses something with a person with logic and reason, and they look up at the sky and say, well, the color of that sky is green. Now, the other person, because they use logic and reason, will take that and say, well, that's not what I see blue. So I'm going to say, well, it may look like a green, but it's actually a blue-green, which is a variation of green, so I can understand you're seeing that. Do you have vision problems, or is there a reason why you're seeing it as green? Because it's actually blue. Because, again, it's perspective. Now, a person that's been trained to use emotion is going to say, oh, you're an idiot. It's not green, it's blue. What are you, stupid? That puts up a defensive wall. And the reason why I could say they're programmed is because that's not how people have been throughout history. You don't see professors and people of high intelligence going back and forth trying to call each other names. They bring up formulas, and if a person doesn't agree with it, they'll research it, they'll work with them, and they'll say, oh, well, maybe you should try this particular element in there, or maybe you should try looking at it from this type of equipment. People of high intelligence, or just the capability of thinking on their own, will process information and try and either agree with it or figure out what is wrong with it and try and correct it. And the programming has gone from logic and reason to where people can actually debate and enhance one another's intelligence, even by disagreeing, to emotion. Because then you're easily controlled. Because emotion is a natural instinct. It's something that automatically goes up in a defense mode. And that's why you see these days, especially these days, that when you present something that is different from what they've been told, it will automatically signal their fight or flight scenario in their reptilian brain, and they get defensive, they get emotional, and they cannot process the information. Their thought and logic part of their brain shuts down, and their emotions take over. And that's why if you talk about, for example, something like 9/11, the majority of people will instantly get angry or defensive, and instead of addressing the points and looking at it from a logical standpoint, they will just attack the person's credibility. They will attack the person personally. And by attack, I don't mean physically attacking them, but you know what I'm talking about. They're attacking your credibility. That's just a word. It's not meant to be taken literally. So it just shows that the people in control, there's a reason why they've done study after study with psychologists to learn about how to control people with emotion. And the people control themselves. Because anybody out there, I'm not here to say that you have to believe what I believe. If you think 9/11 was done the way it was told, well, that's your choice. But if you choose to not research it, if you choose not to debate the facts that we present, how is that beneficial to you and your future and your family's future? It's not logical. And if you can understand that, then you can change your thought process. Because any programming that anyone can do to you can be unprogrammed. And that's why when you see advertisements, you'll always see, especially when they want a guy to buy something, what do? They use beautiful women that are in scanty clothes. So if they want you to buy some electric razor, they're going to have some beautiful woman touching a guy's face with their cleavage hanging out, because you're not going to be thinking about razors, you're going to think about sex. So they're feeding on your primal brain and using your emotions to take advantage of the fact that they can control you in a certain way. And how they use emotion on women to feel like, oh, well, you have to have the latest fashion if you want to be in style. If you don't want other people to look at you like, oh, you're wearing the old clothes that somebody wore 5 years ago. So it's not based on logic, it's based on emotion. And that's a form of programming. It's psychological warfare. And there are people like myself and others, we're not rocket scientists. Okay, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm some genius or anything. I'm an average person at best, but I still have my free capability of thought, which means that if somebody presents me with logical facts and does it in a logical way to where you're trying to educate me of something I did wrong and not put me in a defensive mode, then I can change my ideas. I mean, the people that have been following me since my old channel was up, Born on 11/9/67, I used to watch Max Kaiser. I used to watch Jesse Ventura. I used to listen to Alex Jones. I used to care about what Lindsey Williams used to say. All the fear porn. But I don't believe in that stuff anymore. Why? Because there were people that came along and showed me what I was doing wrong. And they didn't sit there and say, oh, you're an idiot. No, I don't like you. That doesn't help. That's not productive. Because just imagine if you were in school when you were a kid and you asked what some people might think is a stupid question. Just imagine if the teacher in the middle of that classroom started calling you out and making fun of you. Do you think you would ever want to raise your hand again? Or ever try and learn? You'd be humiliated. It just doesn't work that way. And yet people will come here on the internet, especially ones that are hiding behind a computer afraid to show their face, and they'll disagree with something, use their emotion, and instead of saying, no, this is the right way, or this is what I believe, you go with attacks and insults, and then wonder why we respond the same. There's an old saying, you get what you give. So if you're going to put somebody in a defensive mode, don't be surprised that all of a sudden you get attacked, or you get the same aggression back to you. Because there are some people that actually think, I don't want people who disagree on my channel. That is the furthest thing from the truth. There are many people that don't agree with what I say that are still allowed here. I just don't want ignorant people that can do nothing but emotion and name-calling and attacking to get their point across. I'm not going to waste my time with that. And I've used the same logic of the sense of, if I was throwing a party at my house, and I invited a bunch of people, and one of my friends brought in somebody that I didn't know, and the person's being obnoxious, he's being rude, he's spilling things all over the place, wanting to start fights with my friends, why do I have to put up with him? I'll just kick him out of my house. If he can't be respectful, and he can't abide by common sense and human decency, I have no reason to have to keep him in my home. I'll kick him out. That's the same thing with my channel. This is my YouTube channel. If you're watching this, that means you came to visit my house, quote unquote. I'm not talking all of YouTube. I'm talking about my specific channel. So if you come here and do nothing but insult me, you're getting kicked out. If you don't like it, rant and scream like a baby all you want. That doesn't change the fact that you caused the problem. Until people learn these things, nothing's going to change. And the majority of people have been programmed using emotion by people who have been studying this for centuries. They're experts at it. There's a reason why you'll see in these unclassified documents of videos where they're constantly trying to find the psychological aspect of what humans can tolerate and what they cannot tolerate. It's all about finding the best way to get people to train themselves. And they use fear. So that's basically it at this point. If you disagree with the fact that you're controlled, well, either show me why I'm wrong with that, respectfully, or realize that you're more controlled than you actually know. Because if you spend every debate doing nothing but name-calling and attacking, draw your own conclusion. I'm just going to leave it at that. So, thanks for watching, guys. I got to go start my day. Leave your messages after the beep, and don't forget to have your trolls spayed or neutered. Have a great day. Peace.